guys, so for today's lesson, instead of going live, I'm going to do the video for you guys. Yeah, I'll just go through some examples with you. You can upload your work and then I'll leave you with the homework sheet. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're going to be talking about laws of exponents today. So this is something we did in algebra as well, so hopefully some of you will remember it. So here we have x to the a divided by x to the b. So when we divide with like bases, so remember yesterday when we multiplied with like bases, so we had a and b, we added the exponents. So what we're going to do here is subtract them. So a minus b. And when you have coefficients out in front, you're going to divide out the coefficients. So divide coefficients and then subtract exponents with like bases. All right, so let's change up the color. We're going to have 10a to the 7th over 2a to the 4th. So again, the coefficients are the 10 and the 2. So we're dividing out 10 by 2 to get 5. And then we're subtracting the exponents, so 7 minus 4. And here we did 10, divided by 2. So we're going to get a to the 3rd. All right, same thing for the next one. Changing up the color. We have 15. I'm going to just separate all this. So 15 over 3, x to the 5th over x. So I'm just kind of separating by each variable. Y to the 7th over y squared. And z to the 2nd over z. And remember that z is to the 1 power. We spoke about that yesterday as well. So divide the coefficients, 15 divided by 3, and subtract the exponents. So 5 minus 1 is going to give us 4. And then we have 7 minus 2 is going to give us 5, and 2 minus 1 is going to give us 1, or just z. Put the 1 there. Next rule is the 0 rule for exponents. So the 0 rule tells us that anything to the 0 power, so x to the 0 power, is equal to 1. So if I have like 9 to the 0 power, that would equal 1. If I have x, y, z to the 0 power, that will all equal 1. Okay, so now if you look at the two examples, they're both a little bit different, right? So if you see in B, we have the parentheses, and in A, we do not. Okay, so we're going to look at A first. So what is being raised to the 0 power is just the x. So just the part I boxed in is going to equal 1. And then the 4 is going to come down. So these are going to get multiplied together, and the final answer will be 4. However, when you have the parentheses, that whole thing, so this 4x is all being raised to the 0 power. That means 4 to the 0 and x to the 0. So it's going to be 1 times 1, which will just be 1. All right, and then one more rule for today, and then we'll try a couple more examples, which is the negative exponent. So when we have x to the negative a, remember this could be over 1. In order to make it a positive exponent, we have to move it to the bottom. So I'm just going to circle what's here, make my fraction, and I'm going to move, the 1 could stay in the bottom, and I'm going to move the x and make it positive by putting it in the denominator, and I'm going to leave a 1 on top. Now, oppositely, is that even a word? I don't know. Whatever. Opposite, what we could have here is if we already have, let's say we have, actually, let's make it 3 over x to the negative 2nd. In order to make that positive, so here's my negative exponent, I'm going to make my fraction. The 3 stays. I'm going to move this x to the negative second to the top. And I could put a 1 in the bottom if I want. I don't need to, but I can. Okay, so again, if the negative exponent's in the top, we move it to the bottom. If the negative exponent is in the bottom, we move it to the top to make it positive. So you just flip the position, okay? Everything else, though, stays where it is. Just that negative exponent and the variable moves. Everything else stays. Okay, so we have y to the negative 4th. So I'm going to start with making my fraction. And then remember, this is all being moved. I'm going to create the fraction. The 1 can stay here. I'm going to make this y to the 4th. And I need to put something in the numerator because there's nothing there. So we just put a 1. So that's the final answer. All right, one more, and then we'll do a couple more examples on the back. Okay, so I'm going to actually ask you guys to just change this number to a 7. So it's going to be 42 over, so 42a to the 9th, b to the 3rd, over 7a to the 12th, b to the 3rd. Okay, so we're going to have 42 divided by 7. Let's separate each piece. We're going to have 42 over 7. We're going to have a to the 9th over a to the 12th, and lastly b to the 3rd over b to the 3rd. So our first step is we're going to divide. So 42 divided by 7 is going to give us 6. We're going to have 9 minus 12. So I'll write this out, 9 minus 12. And then for the b's, we're going to have 3 minus 3. So 9 minus 12 is going to give us negative 3. And 3 minus 3 is going to give us 0. Now I have to do some simplifying here, which is going to make this another step. I'm going to put this over 1. I want to move just the negative exponent to the bottom. Everything else is going to stay the same. Extend the page. So we're going to have 6, b to the 0, and then I'm moving that a to the negative 3rd to the bottom and making it positive. And now learning one other rule that we just went over, we know b to the 0 power is 1, so it's going to be 6 times 1 over a to the 3rd. So final answer will be 6 over a to the 3rd. Lots of steps there. All right, I'm going to go through a few more examples. All right, so we have, sorry, I have to look at my sheet. Rewrite this, 3 over x squared to the negative 3rd. All right, so we're going to be using one of the rules from yesterday, which was power to a power. So these are going to get multiplied out. So we're going to get 3 over x to the negative 6. And now we want to make this positive. So it's in the bottom. So I'm going to move it up to the top. And then if we want, we could put it over 1. It doesn't need to be, but we could get in the habit of doing that so we don't forget. All right, and then we have x to the negative 3rd, x to the 4th, over x to the 8th. Okay, so remember, we want to add the exponents here. So again, going back to a rule from yesterday, we're going to have negative 3 plus 4. So we're going to get x to the 1st over x to the 8th. And now we're dividing, so we're going to subtract the exponents, 1 minus 8, and that's going to give us negative 7. So we're going to get, this is x to the negative 7th. Now, again, we need to make it a positive exponent, so we're going to put it over 1. And we're going to just move it over to the denominator. So x to the 7th in the bottom, and just 1 left on top. 3x to the fourth over negative 6x to the negative second. All right, so the first thing that we want to do here, I'm going to take this, since it's negative exponent, I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to the numerator. So we're going to have 3x to the fourth times negative 6x squared, and that can all be over 1. So now we are going to be squaring. I'm going to box in what I'm squaring, which is this piece here. So we have, let's bring over the 3x to the fourth, and then we're going to get negative 6 squared. Remember, it's going to go to both things in the parentheses, and x squared. So negative 6 squared is going to be negative 6 times negative 6. It's going to get 36. 3x to the fourth comes down, and x squared comes down. Now 2 more steps. We're going to multiply the 3 and the 36. And I believe, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but that's 108. And then we're going to add the exponents. So 4 plus 2 will give us 6. So that's the final answer for that one. I'm going to rewrite number 4, give a little more space. X squared, so this is number 4 now. 4x to the negative 1. And that whole thing is to the negative third power. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to go about doing this problem. The first thing I'm going to do is separate the fraction. So I'm going to separate x squared, and that's going to be raised to the negative third. And on the bottom, I'm also going to have 4x to the negative 1, and that's going to be raised to the negative third. So this is applying to the top and to the bottom. Okay, now negative exponents, I'm going to make them positive. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to move it all to the bottom. So x squared, and make it positive. I'm going to circle the other one in black. I'm going to take this denominator, and I'm going to move it to the numerator to make it positive. So 4x to the negative 1 to the third. Now I'm going to solve it. So we're going to have 4 to the third, and we're going to have x to the negative 1 to the third over, and we'll keep this for now. We'll finish it in the next step. All right, so 4 to the third, so 4 times 4 times 4 is going to give us 64. I'm multiplying negative 1 and 3, so x to the negative third. And in the bottom, I'm multiplying 2 and 3 to get x to the sixth. Almost done. So now I'm subtracting the exponents, so I can divide 64 and 1 and get 64. And then I'm going to have negative 3 minus 6. So we're going to get x to the negative 9th. Now make it positive. So this is going to have to move. So 64 over x to the 9th. And that would be the final answer there. So we always want positive exponent and simplify it as much as possible. All right, so I'm going to just do one. Let me see. I'm going to do one more question with you guys. And this is kind of relates to, I talked about this in the end of yesterday's lesson using powers of 2. So we have 2 to the 7th times 2 to the 5th over 16. So we want to rewrite 16 as a power of 2. So remember yesterday we had said 2 squared is equal to 4. 2 to the third equals 8, and 2 to the fourth equals 16. So I can replace the 16 with the 2 to the fourth. So I'm going to have 2 to the seventh times 2 to the fifth over 2 to the fourth. So now think about it. When we multiply, we add the exponents. So we're going to have 2 and then 7 plus 5, which will give us 12. And now we're dividing, and when we divide, we subtract the exponents. So here we did 7 plus 5, and here we're going to do 12 minus 4. So we're going to get 2 to the 8th. So you can leave your answer like that, or if you actually put that into your calculator, you should get for your final answer 256. So 256, or you can leave it as 2 to the 8th. Okay, so I am going to leave you guys there. Today, I'm not going to have you try any problems on your own. I would just like you to upload your notes. This video is like less than 20 minutes, so really shouldn't take too long. Upload your notes, pause the video, go back if you have to get things copied down. That's all I'm really going to look at for today. And then tomorrow I will post you guys some practice problems, and then we will meet live again you're off on Monday, so we will meet live again on Tuesday, and we'll go over this and the homework from last night. Post you guys some practice. Upload your notes, pause the video, go back if you have to get things copied down. That's all I'm really going to look at for today. And then tomorrow I will post you guys some practice problems, and then we will meet live again you're off on Monday, so we will meet live again on Tuesday, and we'll go over this and the homework from last night. Okay, any questions, feel free to email me, but tomorrow again, you'll have a practice sheet with these types of problems, and then next time we meet live, we'll go over all of them. Okay, so just upload the worksheet for today, or your notes for today, I should say. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.